Simple video on draw knife sharpening. See, just get the stones out. You can hold your draw knife here. I choose not to. Here we go. Oh, you can hold it flat on the stones, but I choose to hold it in my arms. Primary bevel, the bevel's already been established, so I'm just going to go along it with this stone right here. And see if I can get a better angle here. Here we go. So I'm riding along the bevel. You want to touch the first, you always want to hit your first bevel. Because you have two bevels essentially on a draw knife that form an apex. Let's see if I can show it in the camera here. Just ride it along. Sometimes you want it flat, sometimes not. Alright, that's been hit. Now we're going to touch the other bevel. The micro bevel. Going back. Going back. Going back. Going back. Just back and forth. Simple procedure. Now, the back of this is not flat. Concave slightly. Oh, my dog's here. Hey, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Wanna go back inside? Let's go inside. Inside. Just taking my dog out. Real quick. Let's go. Let's go. Sorry, whenever I record a video, my dog freaks out, so just made sure to put him inside. So I could talk a little bit more detailed. I was trying to be careful to avoid hurting his feelings. So I can already feel the burr on the back here. You have essentially two bevels to work with these styles. This is a Witherby. It's 10-inch, and it's actually a flat. It's actually a flat arc. Now, when these are made, I think it's probably more for debarking, if anything. Although, like a really good carpenter's draw knife, you know, it would be curved. It would be a swoop. This is probably a later style where that wasn't needed as much. But I have Ohio Tool. I have PN and W, and then I have a couple other brands back there. Those are curved. This is the first time I've seen one straight. Although another time I did find one that was also straight. So I think this is just the modern style. So if I could show the camera here, this is not entirely flat. A lot of the times when you have a single bevel, tool, the understood thing is that it is going to be flat. That is primarily not true. They are flat to a certain degree. The edge is beveled. You don't actually want a super flat tool when you have a single bevel. Just as it's not efficient for cutting wood. So usually it's supposed to come in a scooping motion, which is what this bevel would be doing. So it was all intentional. One thing I didn't get until very late in owning one of these tools is that the back bevel right here, you actually, again, it's not a single bevel. You are putting a micro bevel on the back here. This back was flattened. I thought I was supposed to flatten it when I first got it, and I learned that it's not the case. You want to put a small bevel on the back. So I'm just going to do that here. Because we already have a burr established, we are essentially taking that burr and pushing it back. Now, do I still feel it? No, but I'm going to lubricate this a little bit more. There we go. That's pretty good. Same thing with hewing axes. Now I can actually feel the bevel has pushed, so we are good. Now I'm going to take, this is a super fine hone. I forget what the brand name is, but it's a very good brand. This stone is epoxy. It's very fine. And we are just going to polish that bevel. We're going to go to a fine, fine polish. Hone that edge. Same thing here. I don't need to lubricate this as much. This is not a stone, it's an oil stone. It's really meant for just pushing and refining that bevel. Okay, same thing. We're going to go back and forth now. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're chasing that bevel now. Sharpening has to be an art form. You have to understand how these things work. I'm not an artist when it comes to sharpening, but I'm getting close to that point. Man, that feels good. What I was doing by going back and forth is so you would feel the burr regardless of how fine a stone you were using. When you're pushing it with the stone, you are not getting rid of when you're pushing it on both sides. What you're doing is you're refining that razor edge. It's sort of serrated, it's sort of hard, and it's very weak. What I am doing is I'm going back and forth, pushing it 1, 2, different directions. As I am pushing it back and refining it, it is going to be a stronger burr. I'm going to not take it off with a strop. I have a honing wheel over there on a hand crank grinder. This is going to be. Now you can do this with a strop. The point, I guess, with a strop is you want to be keeping it in line and doing it back and forth instead of trying to push that burr off. Instead, that razor burr is going to be on here. It's going to be good. Okay, we're gonna see how this works. It's a little too deep. Really good. Really, really good. Holy crap. Taking it too deep here. Let's try flipping it over. And actually, let's push the board up. This is not the proper way to hold something like this. Oh, that's much better. Really good. Really amazing. Amazing results. Let's see if I can be detailed with it. Sorry, it's gonna take this rough bump in here. That's pretty good. Pretty good results. I'm not good at controlling this. Now you should be able to do end grain with the draw knife. So let's see how that works. Oh, beautiful. Oh man, wish you could feel this. It feels so good. Oh man. Let's try the level up. Nah, it's a little harder. Level up, but still. That's pretty good results. So that's how to sharpen a draw knife. Going over the simple things. Some of these, it will be curved, but as long as you keep to following a primary back bevel, strong bevel on the back here. Just keep your hone perfectly flat. As long as you do that, you should be good. There's a speed bump right here. You can hit that with a stone. Eventually, you'd be creating a knife's edge if you did that. Knife's edge draw knives are just fine. Probably a little bit better to me. But you remember, you got to hit the back here first. Make sure that's all good. Then you can hit your micro bevel right here. Once you hit your micro bevel, go back here. This is already flat. You shouldn't have to worry about flattening this, by the way. You should have to worry about hitting that back bevel on an angle. I think it's Lee Valley. Some tool company sells a diamond micro hone that has it's like a jig, and it's for sharpening the micro bevel on the back here. Same thing can apply with that. That thing is actually pretty nice. I have not used it, but I've seen it and I've heard it's really good. However, you can do this through traditional method. This is obviously guys did this for a long time. So, all right, that's a Witherby. That's how to sharpen a draw knife. Putting this away.